The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Persons under 18 will not be admitted.
What the fuck are we gonna do now? Get high? Hey, it's Wednesday. At least that's what I was told. I think. Is it Wednesday? Yeah. It's Wednesday.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks, Jeremy. At least somebody.
We're all here.
At least somebody is paying attention tonight. So, well, good, because I was going to ask Jeff a question before we got started, but you know what? Because you were so enlightening there. What happens when you step upon a star?
I wish I came up with something beyond.
You get pricked by the point.
There you go. You get pricked by the point. I like that. That's actually pretty good. So anyways, folks, yes, it's Wednesday. We got a kick-ass show tonight. Producer, actor, writer. Many, many more hats in that ring. But I won't steal Jeff's thunder for the introduction. But always with me.
Woohoo! Wednesday night. It's me, Jar Jar. Hanging with Ben and Jeff.
He's got to go.
No, I'm looking forward to chatting with this Keck guy. You know, did I say that right? Yeah, I did. I think I said that right. I had to rehearse his name, even though it's 4 fucking letters. you know. But yeah, let's just bring him right in, Mr. William Keck.
Woo!
You got it right. First, that was the longest opening credit sequence. I was like Knots Landing season 14. Is there even time for us to chat? Are we done? We got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
They're available to buy.
Yeah, we like to do that. It builds the anticipation.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
excited for nudity. When does the nudity start? I mean, do we go for it right now?
Go ahead.
By all
we
means.
We through?
Hey,
Go
whatever
ahead,
sells,
flip
whatever
Flip it
sells.
out, fondle
Yeah.
yourself. Who cares?
I'll do whatever it takes to sell some of these babies. Yeah.
Based on what
There
I
you
was
go.
reading, yeah, I bet you would.
Whoa!
I have a record. I do, Jeff. I've done some
Yes.
bad, naughty things.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but my conscience has been cleansed. This is my
Yes.
mea culpa.
Oh, look at that.
Rebooted.
Right.
It's like going to Jesus. Everybody gets to start all over.
My come to Jesus moment. Yes.
Wow. Was that the
Well,
style you stepped on?
Based on what I've read, you've had quite a few of those and a few
Yes.
Reaper moments as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, the Grim Reaper is the entire first section of my book. It's in 4 sections. The first is death, disturbing the dead and near dead. And I was a tabloid reporter. This is about the times I snuck into funerals and hospital rooms and really got dirty to get the true story about how people died. And yeah, those were some tough assignments for the National Enquirer back in the day.
See, we were always taught, don't believe what you read in the tabloids, kids. Is that untrue? Should we believe what we read in the tabloids?
You know, it depends on what article you're reading, what week. Everyone always said, oh, the Enquirer, that's 3-headed babies and Elvis sightings in Hawaii. And no, that was further down the rack, like the Examiner and the Sun, some of those other cheaper tabloids. We were the leading celebrity. I was there in the 90s during the whole OJ thing. So, I mean, we had some street cred. You know, LA Times was lauding us. New York Times actually gave us credit for breaking stories. It took us serious. The problem is that they paid a lot of money for us to go get the story, paying money to sources. But the story was never good enough for the editors. They always wanted to juice it up. So, I mean, if we had a couple arguing, they were getting divorced. If a couple was thinking about moving together, they're talking marriage. Always the headline had to be just blown up to the max to sell papers.
If they're not pooping in their pants, we're not going to print it.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that was 1 week. It was Golden Girls all pooping in their pants on the set. One day. It was one of our biggest selling issues. It was amazing.
Right. And you've a lot of amazing entities, I guess we would call it. So like you said, the National Enquirer, People, Entertainment Weekly, USA Today, LA Times. I mean, wow.
Yeah, but I mean, when you work for the Enquirer, you don't go instantly working for People magazine. I mean, I had to pay my dues. So the only place that would hire me was a soap opera magazine. So I went from digging in dumpsters to finding out if Marina was going to choose John or Brian. So that was paying my dues in a whole other way. But
So
then, yeah,
real quick, you writing for soap opera magazines. Is that how you got your spot on General Hospital?
Oh man, I mean, probably no. I was covering the daytime Emmys for the TV Academy, and I made friendly with the executive producer. He'd done me some favors, and then I'd done him some favors. So yeah, he invited me to play Morgan Fairchild's kind of sleazeball crony on a couple episodes.
Yeah, because
that is my acting resume, right? You introduced me as an actor. That's it. 2 days on General Hospital.
Right. Well, the reason I even brought that up is because we do have a lot of females that watch, and my wife is usually one of them. And she was going through. She sits down in my office sometimes, and she's like, he looks really familiar. How do I? Hold on, wait a minute. That was Russell on General Hospital.
Oh no! You're lying. That's just not true.
I fucking Jeff. Am I lying?
No, yeah.
Okay, that's freaky.
She's like Rain Man when it comes to General Hospital.
That's incredible. I mean, so you throw like toothpicks down, and she can tell you how many toothpicks are on the floor.
If it was on General Hospital.
It was on General Hospital.
If it was on General Hospital.
So like tongue depressors, you throw 20 tongue depressors on the floor, she can put them in order immediately.
Right.
Well, please tell your wife I'm humbled, and to write executive producer Frank Valentini and ABC say, whatever happened to that Russell character? Bring him back on.
Yeah, so you can kill him.
Yeah, I did get almost strangled by one of the characters, so that was fun.
But we're actually here tonight, folks, to talk about William's upcoming book release tomorrow, and it's called "When You Step Upon a Star: Cringeworthy Confessions of a Tabloid Bad Boy."
Ooh.
So real quick, I got a couple excerpts that were sent to me.
Great.
By famous, from the PR firm about famous people that have mentioned you. So we're gonna start with a bad one. Oh, not a bad one, but somebody that doesn't really like you.
Yeah. Spin the wheel. It could be anybody.
And this gentleman said, "I invite this young man to fry in hell, but that's probably a done deal already." And that was Kelsey Grammer.
Fraser. Yeah. The full quote this was in his book. So actually you can buy the audio tape version of his book and you can hear him in his Fraser voice saying, "William Keck, a despicable piece of flesh from the National Enquirer. I invite him to burn in hell, but that's probably a done deal anyway. William, I'm speaking to you directly now. Your mother must be very, very proud." So when I told my mother I was in Kelsey Grammer's book, she was so proud. So yes, she was, Kelsey. Thank you for the shout out. So I thought it was only fair when I came out with my book that I should tell my side of the story on things and how things went down. And through that, I contacted his ex-fiance, who wrote a whole page in the book, talked about how he broke up with her via their therapist, and she was thinking about taking her life. And now she's doing great. I'm doing great. Fraser's doing great. He cleaned up his act too. Everybody's happy.
Right.
Do you guys get along?
I gave him the chapter. I believe he read it. His publicist, who I've known for a long time, said he's not going to comment, but you're good to go with this. So I think we're okay. I mean, this was the 90s. I was a bad boy working for a tabloid. He was messing up a lot with all sorts of activities. Our paths crossed during that one period of time. But I think, with maturity and lots of therapy and medication and toking, you have a second chance in life. So I extend an olive branch to Mr. Grammer.
Agreed.
Well, I was going to tell him, William's on our show. He doesn't have to burn in hell. We're driving the train there. He's just coming with us.
Awesome, guys. Olive's company there. Great. Who are we finding first? Who are we looking for? Ivan the Terrible?
Right?
Ivan the Terrible. Okay.
Yeah.
Good
Nice.
company.
Good.
Random,
Good.
huh?
I liked that, actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I was looking for Genghis first, but
how'd you get started in all this? Like how do you get into the Enquirer? Like,
well, I never took a journalism course in my life, so that helped right there. I sold a story, Jeremy. I was working as an NBC page, and I was working. This is how old I am. I was Johnny Carson's final shows. And I normally would never, ever, ever think to sell a story, rat out an employer. You don't do that. But as pages, we were being asked to hide the old people in the audience. So there could be grandma and grandpa who camped out overnight, and they did during these final weeks of Johnny's reign. And they're first in line, and then they didn't get to sit up front. We only were able to see modelly, good-looking younger people up front because Johnny didn't want to go out looking like a dinosaur. Jay Leno was coming in with the youth factor, and he wanted to not look like it was a show like the Ed Sullivan show or the Lawrence Welk show. So I think this is pretty shady, and some of the old people got really mad at me. One guy ripped up his tickets and threw it in my face. So a friend of mine said, I know I sell stories to the Enquirer. You could make some money from this. They paid me $2,000 for that little story, and and then I was in. Then they offered me a job, and that's how it started.
This was early 90s?
This was the mid 90s. Yeah.
Wow, that's a pretty healthy bonus in your check that week.
Oh, man, yeah, no, it was more than I was making as a page, saying, this is Ed McMahon's toilet, and over here is Doc Severson's toupees, and I needed that money. We went to Hawaii. My friend and I went to Hawaii on that money.
Very nice.
Nice.
And how long did you work for the Enquirer?
Just 3 years. I said 3 years, and that's it.
Okay.
But then I went on to, like we said, People in LA Times. But the problem, Jeff, was that you can quit the Enquirer, but that doesn't mean the Enquirer has quit you. Those things that I was doing were still in my brain. Those tricks of the trade to get secrets out, and I ended up stepping on even more stars when I went legit.
Wow. So how many bushes did you hide in?
several, but a lot of times the photographer would hide in the bushes, the paparazzi. I wasn't one of those. I did have camera with me sometimes, but the paparazzi would get the photos, and then I would go and talk to the celebrity, chat them up and get information, kind of bring them out to where they could be photographed. I guess one memorable story. I mean, I'm guessing one of you is a sci-fi fan. I know Jeremy probably was a fan of the $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Okay, love. I mean, I said to my editors, if there's ever a chance to do a Lee Majors or Lindsay Wagner story, please send me out there. So one day they said, Kecky, it's your day. We got a Lindsay Wagner story for you. Great. Oh my God, am I going to her house? You're going to her dad's funeral. And we want you to find out about this young boy toy she's dating. So, and believe me, I am the biggest Bionic fan. My license plate of my car is Bionic. So I had to hide my Jeep behind the church so I didn't look like some Bionic stalker. Vincent, our photographer, is in the bushes. He's already captured photos of the young buck that Lindsay was dating. I was introduced to her and she said, thank you. Did you know my dad? I said, no, I'm actually with the Inquirer and we were here to do a story on you and your guy here. And I said, we actually got photos. And so I pointed out Vincent in the bushes and he waved and she said, well, what do you need? I said, well, I don't know, maybe a caption. And she said, okay, I have a caption for you. Fuck you.
Oh, yeah.
So here's my idol telling me to fuck off at her father's funeral.
Oh.
Not a good feeling.
I don't need to laugh, but
jump over the wall.
Now, I'm sure you heard that word many times in your career.
Yeah, and not even when I was a reporter. I mean, when I was working for Aaron Spelling Productions, I was working on a Drew Barrymore show, and I had to get her script revisions over the weekend. And I had to make sure she got them. On Monday, she had to know those lines. So, this is before texting. This is a long time ago. So I was leaving a few messages on her answering machine. And she finally returned the call and said, hey, Will, it's Drew. I got your 50 fucking messages and I'm going to fucking kill you. I wish I'd saved that. And then she said, haha, just kidding. I got the pages. But yeah, no, I mean, that F word came up a few times. It was totally unfair and unwarranted.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Not like you were prying into their personal life or anything like that.
Going through their garbage or looking in the windows.
It was always fuck you, not fuck me. There was no like that side of it, huh?
That's the characters from Austin Powers, right? I remember those two. Remember? Fuck you, not fuck me. I took it any way I could. I wasn't getting anything at that time, by the way. There was no fucking going on at all.
How were you able to get close enough to these people to be able to like actually talk to them? Like,
well, it's
like
all
Lee Majors.
I mean, it's like Wedding Crashers. Lee Majors, I did meet him. He actually sat on the bumper of my Bionic car, so we're seated on the car. It was pretty cool. I got Lindsay to do the same thing. But it depended on the challenge. Weddings. Meredith Baxter Burney, the mom from Family Ties,
Look at you.
Alex Keaton's mother. I was sent to crash her wedding. So I chose to go to the reception. Thought it was easier. And I bought a gift. I bought a little $5 Target picture frame. I wrapped it really nicely. And with all the other guests, I brought my little gift in. I placed it on the gift table. I just walked in, waved to security. I was in. Then we kind of mingled, my date and I. And then we saw a couple of place cards that hadn't been claimed. So those were our seats. We sat down, and then when it came time for the cake cutting, everybody got up. I got up and took a wonderful picture of the family, and that picture appeared in the National Enquirer the next week. That's,
for you, man.
That's one way you do it.
Wow. I mean, as a teenager, I wouldn't even sneak into the movies.
Oh, I did. I'm like, oh,
yeah, right?
Really?
I sure did.
No, I never did that.
Why,
No.
Jeff? You look like a bad boy. Why did you not?
I was a bad boy in other ways. I didn't need to sneak into theaters.
Ah, okay. All right. Yeah.
But that's a story for another day.
All right.
Yeah. That's for the second book when he gets
Totally
the dirt on us.
I'm going to be going through your garbage now, Jeff. And
Good luck with that.
Now, did any of these people become aware of you? Like when you started coming, they'd be like, "Oh shit, here comes Keck. Let's get the fuck out of here."
I think there were enough of us that they could recycle us. So if we'd been spotted, they could send somebody else into the lion's den. So no, that never happened. Sometimes security on different sets or different studio lots, I would have to kind of sneak around them to get what I wanted. Roseanne, when that show was on, I mean, she was always messing up. So I was always being sent to her set to kind of get information on her. We got a weird tip once that she was requiring everybody in her staff to be barefoot. So that kind of stuff would come in. But, you know, Roseanne and Tom Arnold, her husband at the time, they loved being in the Enquirer. And if they weren't in the Enquirer, they were pissed and they would do something that week to get back into the Enquirer.
Okay.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
there's a whole other group of people who want to be in the Enquirer.
Well, that's weird.
Publicity is publicity.
Yeah, that's right. And if you can get the Enquirer to pay for your wedding, if people doesn't want it, the Enquirer will write a check to you. And it all depends. If you're on your way up or you're on your way down, that's where you land.
Did you ever get put onto a detail like that you really just didn't want to do?
I mean, all the time. You know, I mean, you find out. Okay, The Honeymooners. Okay, a classic sitcom, The Honeymooners back in the day. Ralph Cramden, his wife Alice Cramden, played by a veteran actress named Audrey Meadows. They had information that she was in the hospital and that she was on the mend, though. She had some kind of bronchial thing. So I was sending with flowers to her hospital room. I mean, you just, you don't do that. I've been in the hospital room with my family. I'm like, if anybody came in there to try to snoop, I would kill them. But it was the assignment. So I brought flowers in. And Audrey said, "Oh, how lovely, thank you." And she opened the card, saw they were from the Enquirer. And she said, "No, you've got to leave." Well, I didn't really get an interview, but the Enquirer had other sources that were convinced she was on the mend. So the story ran, Audrey Meadows about to be released from the hospital. By the time the story came out in the Enquirer, Audrey was dead with my byline on the story. There was a new publisher who had just taken over the Enquirer. And he met me and he said, "Oh yeah, you're the one who did that Audrey Meadows story. Great work." So a lot of times, you would contribute your information and you wouldn't really know what the story was going to look like until several other people had done a bit of creative writing on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I did a whole story on, Dinah Shore's funeral. She was a talk show host back in the day and Bob Hope was at the funeral and the president, Gerald Ford and Betty Ford. I mean, there were big stars there. They didn't use a word of that. All they used was something about Burt Reynolds, just as, could never get over Dinah Shore. And a lot of times they'll write the story in their minds before they even send reporters out. They know what they want.
Right.
And if they don't get that, they go with the story that they think will sell.
So what percentage of these stories are actually truth?
So they would spend a lot of money to send me to Utah to try to ski and get to John Kennedy Jr. They want me to find out if his wife was pregnant. So I booked a room outside of the room, and every time they put food out, I would go to look to see if Carolyn Bessette was drinking alcohol. So they really tried hard. But then there were 3 guys, we were told, in Lantana, Florida, the home office, and they sort of molded these stories. So I think there was a kernel of truth in all of them. But then you kind of had to find that, and celebrities themselves even said that. They said you could believe maybe 30 to 60% of it, and the other magazines and they would pick up the Enquirer because they knew that there was something brewing there that they could look into.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, as far as the book goes, now. Give our viewers and listeners a little insight to what the book is all about. Your book, not what you've already done in the past.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Now it's going to get a little serious here, so shake me up. I don't want this to become too serious, but it's really my evolution. I have a lot of celebrities in the front of the book. Henry Winkler, people who are saying this guy changed. He's no longer who he was back in the day. Give him a chance. So it's about my evolution. It's about where I started as a bad boy. I was kind of living a secret life at the time, keeping my own secrets about myself. I decided to come clean about me, and that meant leaving the Enquirer, going legit. And I learned lessons from each of these things. And every chapter in the book, all 39 chapters, ends with a lesson that I learned that I think people can probably apply to their own lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the best lesson you learned?
Wow, I mean, so many.
You can only pick one.
I mean, I think it's be true to yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, people can ask you to do things, and you gotta think, is this really who I am or who I want to be? I think that's true. Yeah, and don't wrestle bears. That's also, I wrestled the bear. I had to do that.
Yeah,
Hey,
that was going to be one of my questions
what?
a little bit later. What the fuck? What kind of bear?
What were you?
It was an 800-pound brown bear with all of his teeth. And the reason was, back in the day, the Inquirer they wouldn't send us out just to do these celebrity stories. They had us do these ridiculous stunts. They had me spend 2 days as an 80-year-old man to see if I experienced ageism, if I could get in the movies. Jeff, if I could sneak in the movies or get a discount in the movies, if I could get to a hot club, or if they would kick me out. But yes, they had me. They said, Inquirer reporter, and I think I was like 150 pounds, wrestles an 800-pound bear and lives to tell about it. And the money shot was when this bear was on top of me, and they put a marshmallow in my mouth, and the bear ate the marshmallow out of my mouth. All those photos, by the way, are in the book. And it's in the chapter about the celebrity who beat me up. Since I can't show his picture, I substitute him with Bogey the bear. Bogey beating me up.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously it was a trained bear. It wasn't some bear in the freaking wild that you decided to go wrestle.
No. Yeah, it was a movie bear. So
yeah, that's what I figured. From Grizzly Adams or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he still could have. He had his teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. They're big.
I ain't messing around with no bears.
Bogey the bear. But they were the way they wrote this too. They called me like, little wiry Keck reporter. I mean, it was like they tried to make me into this like the early version of Captain America. Before they CG'd him into Chris Evans. That's how they painted me. I'm like, oh my God, guys. I mean, I wasn't like a olive oil from Popeye.
What was the headline? William Keck bears all.
That should have been the headline. That's killer right there. Yeah.
He just wrote that down, and he's going to sell it to the Inquirer tomorrow. Thanks,
well,
Jeff.
Good luck finding the Inquirer, Ben. I mean, when's the last time you saw the Inquirer?
When's the last time you saw anything in newsprint?
Hey, inquiring minds want to know, but minds have left a long time ago.
Well, people still subscribe. You can find it if you really look hard on some newsstands, but it's kind of buried now. Their website, during the whole, and again, we're not political. President Trump was on trial. There was a trial about catch and kill. The Inquirer came back into the spotlight. And I thought the Inquirer was going to kind of emerge during that time and say, hey, yeah, we're still here. I went onto their website and they had not posted a new story in like 2 years. One of the lead stories on there was why James Caan can't find the right woman. Well, maybe it's because he's been dead for 2 years.
Right.
Right.
Wow.
So
they need to get on TikTok if they're going to do anything.
I want to back.
Which one?
Go ahead.
I'll take the Jeff Square for 100.
I said they need to get on TikTok if they want to do something in the future.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think they've TikToked. I think their TikToking is over. I think their glory years have come and gone.
Probably.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to just reel back for a second because you said that, it was your book's about, the evolution of you and your career and telling somebody secrets while hiding your own secrets.
Yes.
Would you care to enlighten our viewers with maybe just one of your secrets?
I know our viewers are gonna be shocked, but I'm gay. So that was my secret. I was looking into all these
celebrities. Oh man, what the Keck?
Right, what the Keck, man? I was looking into all these celebrities' scandals and private lives, and yet I was totally living a lie to the public. So I think it was easy for me to deflect away from me if I was looking into their business. So, part of my evolution became coming out and claiming who I am. And while I was at the Inquirer, we were doing stories and trying to out Ellen DeGeneres and trying to out Rosie O'Donnell. So, I mean, I saw this hypocrisy. I'm like, ugh. And all this just finally came to a head. And I'm like, yeah, this is
right. It must have drove you crazy, actually.
Yeah, no, it did.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, you're not alone when it in that aspect. I mean, I have family members that were like that. I mean, we live in a different world now.
You have family members who work for the tabloids? Oh.
No, I have family members that are gay.
What?
Yeah. I mean,
I have children that are trans, that have come out gay, that like it's a wild world these days.
right.
Well, like you said, be true to yourself.
Oh, what's that?
Be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Be true to yourself.
Be true to yourself. You know, my bureau chief, a guy named Jerry, he's the one I dedicated my book to. He was the bureau chief of the National Enquirer. God rest his soul. He passed away a few years ago. He's the one who told me, be true to yourself. And that's what leads everything off. Jerry, you know, I hadn't seen him in years. I was writing this book, and by total coincidence, I was dropping off some clothes at a Salvation Army, and I was trying to squeeze between these two cars. I hit a car. I knocked its rear side view mirror off. I had a Bed Bath & Beyond coupon. I left my name and number on there. I left it on the car. And whose car did I hit but my former bureau chief, Jerry George, who I hadn't seen in 12 years. So we got to have a dinner and talk about our stories shortly before he died. So even though I don't get to give him a copy of the book, I feel the universe, God, whatever, made that possible for our paths to cross one last time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, so you've written for all these entities, but now you're also an Emmy-nominated producer for the Hallmark Channel, the Discovery Channel.
Well, like, one of my credits, yes, I was one time an Emmy-nominated producer for Hallmark.
It's still something. Well, I'm bringing that up because you, like I said, you wore many hats: producer, actor, writer, author, Snoop.
Oh yeah.
You know, but you actually worked on one of my favorite shows, which is Josh Gates Tonight.
Oh, really? Yes.
I fucking love everything that Josh does.
Yeah. Josh is a great guy. I spent 2 seasons producing for Josh Gates Tonight, and you know, there's a story that actually ties into Kelsey Grammer there. I think you'll appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So you know, Shark Week. Shark Week is
Oh, yeah.
a big part of Discovery. Everything has to be shark related during that week. So we had an episode. Kelsey Grammer was booked as a guest. I was a little worried because, like, oh God, I don't want to do a pre-interview with this guy. He's going to recognize me and cancel. Luckily, that didn't happen. So I researched him, gave notes and questions to Josh. And I asked his publicist, I said, hey, you know, since Kelsey's coming on for Shark Week, does he have any shark stories he can tell? And his publicist said, you know, I don't know. Just have Josh ask him during the interview. So the interview was going well. And Josh, this was recorded interview, said, so Kelsey, you know, any fun shark stories to tell? And Kelsey got kind of serious. And he said, well, I don't have any fun stories, but my brother was eaten by a shark. And one of his half brother was actually eaten by a shark. Yeah.
Oh,
no
and when
way.
I say half brother, I mean not like half of a brother eaten by a shark. I mean
Hopefully the bad half.
It was mortifying. So Josh came out into the bullpen where we all were. He said, Keck, this has got to be the biggest fuck up of your career. And I said, Josh, you have no idea. Wait until my book comes out. This actually ranks quite low.
That's great.
Wow,
that's
what
great.
are the odds?
Apparently very good.
Yeah, apparently.
Josh pops up in my book a couple times. We did stunts. You know, we came up with these crazy storylines, and one of the themes was sitcom week. So I got one of the Brady Bunch kids to come on the show, Cindy Brady, Susan Olsen. Yep. And my skit was that there was some rivalry between the Brady Bunch and the Happy Days gang. So Cindy Brady was taking Josh to go egg the old Happy Days house where they shot Happy Days. And the kicker at the end was the door opens and Marion Ross, who played Mrs. C on Happy Days, comes out, age 92, her last acting gig, and she says, "You kids get off my lawn!" And so she gives Josh the business, and so that was great. What was the surprise that day was this was during the height of COVID, and we were all having to get tested and wear masks. Everybody had to get tested. So Susan Olsen, she chose, again, not political, she chose not to get vaccinated. But this was an issue for us because everybody had to be. So I was in this position of, oh my God, I have her in a skit with Marion Ross, who's 92. This might not turn out well. So I did my best to kind of separate the two as much as possible. Luckily, everybody was healthy, and there was no like Ghost of Marion Ross haunting Happy Days house story that ended up in the National Enquirer.
Right.
But you never know what's going to happen, I mean, and a lot of money is invested in these things. We had all these locations set and the cameraman ready. So you kind of just got to go with it and hope for the best. Hope nobody dies.
Seriously.
Roll the dice.
So what was one of the meanest things somebody ever said to you?
Besides fuck you and I'm gonna fucking kill you and
yes.
Well,
the fuck you and that stuff, that doesn't hit you in the heart. Something that hits you in the heart.
Well, I mean, we didn't talk about Bruce Willis. Yeah.
I was gonna bring it up, but I didn't.
well, here's the time to. So Bruce Willis, great guy. He showed up to a premiere with a much, much younger woman who was on the soap opera Days of Our Lives. Ben, your wife probably knows Nadia Bjorlin was her name. Beautiful babe. She came out with big boobs and a tight red dress and beautiful spray tan, just looked gorgeous. At the after party, I chatted up Bruce and I said, "Hey Bruce, I know Nadia's on Days of Our Lives, your lovely date. I know that Demi Moore, your former wife, was on General Hospital." And he saw where I was going with this, that I was implying that he was looking for women by watching the daytime soap operas. And I don't think he wanted it out there that John McClane, Die Hard, is sitting back watching The Young and the Restless and knitting. So he said, he said, "Keck, you print that, I'm going to burn down your house." I'm like, It's like, no, I'm serious. I'll find out where you live. I'll burn it down and you'll have no place to live. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. So as part of my redemption here with the book, I've shared the chapter with certain people and given them a chance to respond. Bruce, we love him very sadly. He's in a place now where he's not verbal.
Yeah.
Right. But what did happen is Sybil Shepherd, his co-star from Moonlighting, she contributed a very nice essay in my book about Bruce, what a great guy he is and how he has a great sense of humor and how he really probably was kidding about actually coming with a flamethrower to torch Mikasa off of Melrose.
Sure he was.
Right? You never know. You never know.
Yeah, but the threats are great. I mean, I did come close to Frank Sinatra once.
Wow.
For Dean Martin, legendary Dean Martin. There's a lot of Dean Martin in the book. I was assigned to cover his funeral. And to do that, I was escorted out of the cemetery. I arrived early, but they escorted everybody out, cleared the grounds. So I was going around the perimeter of the cemetery, a big cinder block wall, and there were homes outside the cemetery. I saw one homeowner, he had a tree with a branch that extended over the wall into the cemetery grounds, overlooking where the chapel, the guest book was set up. So I rented the tree for the night for $500. I'm up in the tree and I can see Frank Sinatra arriving and Tony Danza and Jerry Lewis. It was perfect. So again, I can't apologize to Dino. He's long gone. So I reached out to one of his best friends, Rich Little, a great impressionist, Rich Little. Yep. He wrote 2 pages in the book, and I said, what do you think from the thought of being a reporter being up in this tree at his funeral? He said Dean would have gotten a big kick out of it. He would have loved it. And I said, what about Frank? He said, no. Frank would have taken an axe and he would have chopped that tree down, and then he probably would have taken that axe and went to town on me, or had one of his guys like Jilly probably do it. So thank God Frank or Rickles didn't see me up in that tree.
Right.
Speaking of tree, where's the strangest place you've had to do an interview?
Well, in prison. I did a prison interview with the daughter of Adam West, Batman.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I was sent to Hawaii to do a story. His daughter, Janelle, was in prison for trying to murder her in-laws. I mean, it was like a Batman, pow, bam. She took a vase and knocked it over this old man's head, pow. She took a telephone and hit the old woman, bam. And she was in prison. And I went to Hawaii. I got an interview with Janelle in prison. I left my card on Adam West's ex-wife's door, who she still lived in Hawaii. And I'm in my hotel room that night and my phone rings. And I pick up the phone. Hello, is William Keck there? And I said, speaking. Yes, this is Bill Anderson. And I knew from having pulled the court papers that Bill Anderson was Adam West's real name. So I'm on the bat phone with Batman here. And right. I'm like, oh, he's gonna just ripped me apart. And he said, William, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being a responsible reporter and flying out there to get the real story. What Adam did was, I guess you could say he was working me, but he controlled the narrative. And by the time the story came out, there was a picture of Adam with his grandkids who he was raising. And the headline was, Grandpa Batman to the rescue, raising kids while daughter does time. He loved peace.
Wow, okay.
And I'm happy to say I reconnected with Adam several times at the end of his life, and he said his daughter Janelle was doing very, very well now and back with her kids, who are now adults and probably have kids of their own.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've gotten some really, really crazy interviews. But one of the ones that I picked up on that I saw was the first interview with Nicole Brown Simpson's family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was a rough one.
Yeah,
so this was
it had to be.
Yeah, I mean, we were all working our celebrity stories. When those murders happened, everybody dropped every story. We all went to Mezzaluna, where Ron Goldman had worked, and we went to the Brentwood condo. And my assignment actually came 3 days after Nicole was buried. And they wanted me to get an exclusive at-home interview with her family. And this was not, mind you, Barbara Walters going into the home with the cameras and sitting down. This was me just finding a way to get, into their home. So I crashed their gated community. I tried delivering flowers. I tried delivering groceries. Nothing worked. So I ended up valeting my car at a Ritz-Carlton next door to this compound. I ran on the beach in my suit and tie. I jumped the wall. I worked my way up to the address I'd been given. I rang the doorbell. The housekeeper answered. Can I help you? I said, I'm here to see Mrs. Brown. She led me into the house, and it was just like a scene in the movie. Nicole's mother, Juditha, her 3 sisters, were sitting around a photo of Nicole crying. And Nicole's mother, Juditha, took my hand and said, thank you so much for coming. How did you know my Nicole? Oh. So, I mean, I never, ever thought I was going to get this far. I had nothing prepared. So I told the truth. I said, I'm so sorry for this horrible invasion. I'm so sorry with what you've been through. But I'm with the Inquirer. And with that, they all stood up and started walking me toward the front door. Nothing violent. And as they later explained, they had been so ravaged by violence that violence was the last thing in their mind. Mrs. Brown said, you've made this huge effort to come into our home. What do you want? And I said, I guess I'd be curious to know how you told Nicole's children about this. And she told me. She said, we sat them down. We said, mommy's in heaven, but now you're going to have 4 mommies looking out for you. I ran the story exactly as they told me. Nobody interfered at the Inquirer. I was insistent. This one we can't mess with, guys. And they appreciated the truth of the story, the sensitivity of the story. What happened is that established a relationship between the Browns and the Inquirer that lasted for many, many, many years. We became Nicole's mouthpiece from beyond the grave. When it was time to show that photo that Nicole had taken of her battered face, that OJ had apparently left her looking battered, and she put that away in her safe. We had an artist rendering of that because the photos were in the possession of the prosecution. So I took that rendering down to the Browns for their approval, and then that ended up being that week's cover story. So something horrible ended up being of some benefit to the family in a very horrible situation.
Right.
So you had some kind of heart back then, even. You weren't totally you weren't a total douche.
Well, douchey. Yeah. For every Britney Spears car chase, when I went the distance, there were times when I was in a high-speed chase with Elizabeth Taylor, and I made the right decision, and I pulled over and let my prey go. There was always this little angel and this little devil, Go for it. No. Find the error of your ways. No, come on, get the story. Go for it. So that was what I wrestled with for many years.
Steak, ramen noodles. Steak, ramen noodles.
Pretty much. Wow. All I could afford to eat back then, there was ramen noodles. There was rarely steak. Unless I got a big cover story. Then I got a bonus. And then I could go to the smokehouse and get a prime rib. Usually ramen.
Did you ever get threatened legally by anybody?
Well, I mean, I mentioned the celebrity who beat me up. So I can't name that celebrity because there were legal papers. I tripped out big time on Victoria Principal, who I adore. I don't know, I've been obsessed with Victoria. I had a stalker in real life. I write about that. Every chapter has a story about me and a story about the horrible assignment I did. So I talked about the stalker I had, and then I talked about how I sort of stalked Victoria Principal. I'm not kidding you guys. When I first came out to LA, I was so wanting to meet Victoria from Dallas that her husband was a plastic surgeon, Dr. Harry Glassman, one of the biggest plastic surgeons in LA. I got a nose job from Dr. Harry Glassman in an effort to try to get to meet Victoria, and it worked. And I did get to meet Victoria through the nose job. And I think my nose is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the nose too. So it was kind of a win-win.
That's an expensive story.
That's a, you really put your nose to the grindstone.
But I'm bummed.
Hey, somebody had to say it.
Yeah. Well, I stuck my nose out there a lot, and sometimes it got snipped. But I went crazy. I went crazy on Victoria when she announced she was not coming back to that new Dallas. I wanted her to be back on the show, and I spazzed out. And some of this leaked onto social media, and I did get a legal letter from Victoria, rightly so. I mean, I was nuts, fucking nuts. But when it was time to write the book, I shared the book with her publicist. Victoria very generously called me, and we had a lovely hour conversation off the record, not in the book. But it healed. The book did do some real healing of old wounds.
Okay. So it's your way of kind of reaching out and maybe like apologizing for being an asshole.
I mean, absolutely. One of the interviews I did with the Desperate Housewives, I was interviewing Marsha Cross, who played Bree Vandekamp. It was supposed to be a nice at-home interview, meeting the twins for the first time. When I walked in her home, she had muffins that she had baked for me. Everything was perfect. That morning, nude photos of Marsha had been leaked. Oh, no. And so here they are again, the devil and the angel. Do you ask? Ask, find out. No, let it go. This is not an appropriate place. At the end of the interview, I asked, and it just tainted the entire day. I was just I beat myself up over this. Marsha's the first person I reached out to. And Marsha said, I'll be happy to write a commentary. And she wrote her version of things. She said what she was really pissed at was not me. It was the $10,000 she had paid to have these photos go away. Somebody snuck them in her backyard while she was showering or something like that. So, it was wonderful when the celebrities offer to give a little contribution to the book and share some of their own stories that I never heard like that.
So we've heard a lot about all these different interviews. What's one of your favorite?
Well, I mean, Johnny Depp was pretty fascinating. He's not in the book because I didn't piss him off. These are all the celebrities. But Johnny was he was 3 hours late to the interview, which is a long time. I run late sometimes. 3 hours is a lot. But we met at the Chateau Marmont, and he just immediately forgave him for being just a little late. He's very charismatic. He gave me a very personal interview about his childhood, how his family was not a typical family at all. He was embarrassed to bring friends over to the house. The family moved 18 times or something crazy. So great interview with Johnny Depp. I am a big fan of his. I think he's a real cool dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's hot. Paris Hilton too. I interviewed Paris Hilton, who copyrighted, I think, That's Hot, or tried to copyright That's Hot.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, waiting for 3 hours for somebody. I mean, sorry, folks. I'm going to tell you right now, if our guests don't show up in 15 minutes of start time, sorry.
It's over.
It's over. And Jeff usually gets the phone call from me like, yep, I'm not even going to try to fucking reschedule that guy.
Oh, so Ben, do you then bring in your wife and you make it a soap opera discussion for an hour?
No.
So
we just don't go live.
On Bold and the Beautiful, Mrs. Ben, what's happening this week? Give us the scoop, the 911.
Right?
411. I always do that.
Well, it is a 911 if they don't show up.
There you go. Thank you.
Why is that shit still on the air? I don't get it.
There's more coming. They're coming out with a new soap opera for the first time in, I don't know, 25 years or something. It's in September, a new CBS soap called The Gates is going to be starting. So maybe they're making a resurgence. But, you know, I don't get it either, because the soaps now are the Real Housewives of Atlanta, you know, where they're throwing things at each other and cheating and swearing. And soaps have evolved somewhat, but they're still very much what they were back in the 70s, I think. So I don't know. I think it's loyalty. I think these fans just have attached onto these characters, and they'll watch till the hourglass stops spinning.
I mean, aren't all their old fans dead by now? Jesus, it's been 50 fucking years.
They induct new fans by sitting them there. Like when I was a kid, I used to watch them with my mom. Sit there and like, I know General Hospital, One Life to Live, All My Children. Like, oh my God, you don't even know.
No, it's true. I think most of the fans are dead. I think that 90% of Bold and Beautiful fans are zombies, I think, actually.
Right? Well, potatoes.
Potatoes.
What? Or potatoes, sure, yeah. Spuds watching Suds.
Right?
There you go.
Hey, a Jeffism.
A Jeffism.
That was a good one. I like that.
Hard to keep up with Jeff.
Yeah.
Hey, have you ever gotten a story on somebody and then they tried to like manipulate the story on, like get in touch with you and be like, hey, hold on, can we run this a little differently?
Oh, I mean, yeah, all the time there were deals made. I mean, when I joined the Inquirer, I couldn't understand why every time we needed Bill Cosby to do a Happy Father's Day story, he would come on the phone. He was a huge star. Why is Bill Cosby cooperating so much with the Inquirer? You can guess why. I mean, all these things that we know now, they knew back then, and they had a dossier and a safe on him. So yeah, I remember I received nude photos of Don Johnson's Johnson. And we didn't run them, but we held on to them, and just in case they were needed at some point. So
wow. National Enquirer has a safe full of dirty secrets.
Well, they did, but it was in the home office in Lantana, Florida. But remember the anthrax scare? Remember that, like 20 some years ago or whatever? And the first places hit was the Inquirer office. And a gentleman there, a very, very beloved employee, died of anthrax poisoning. Everybody was evacuated. They sealed that place off and destroyed it. So, I mean, I can only imagine that somebody wore a hazmat suit and got in there and dialed the safe and got that dossier. I would hope so. But I don't know. I mean, most of that was considered poison. You know, is it worth dying to get scoop on Bill Cosby's happy pills? I don't know.
So now it's a Gone Johnson?
Spanish fly.
Spanish fly. Yeah. Yeah. Horrible man.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah. So yes, I mean, we would somebody would be getting divorced. We would find out about that. They said, guys, go easy on me here. I'll invite you to cover the wedding. You know, those deals did happen regularly. The Lindsay Wagner story. I mean, I never really told what happened with the end of that when I was at the funeral. They ended up taking control of the story. Lindsay and her then boyfriend were starting a jewelry line. So we didn't end up writing anything about the funeral. It was about Lindsay and her new younger boyfriend are launching this amazing Native American inspired line of jewelry. So win-win. Nobody wanted to work with the Inquirer. So when somebody did, we rolled out the red carpet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very smart way to...
We were never invited to parties. So when we were, we played ball.
All right, so you wouldn't tell us who roughed you up.
I can't.
But
NDA signed.
Yeah.
No, I know that. You wouldn't tell us who roughed you up, but who fondled you?
So, you know, it's on my list of 500 people I would want to fondle me, and there's several on there. This person would not have ranked on there. I mean, I would love to tell you that it was like, you know, George Clooney or Brad Pitt, but this stretches back. So did you ever watch a show called Soap?
Yeah.
Remember Soap? This is a story of two sisters, Jessica Tate and Mary Campbell. So an actor on that show who then later went on to Empty Nest, who was it was a spinoff of the Golden Girls, an actor named Richard Mulligan. He played Burt Campbell, who thought he was invisible on Soap. And it was weird. This was just so weird. We were backstage at the Emmys. This is before I got into the business at all. I had no contacts. I got a job as a security guard, and I was posted to watch the Emmys, guard the Emmys backstage at an Emmys rehearsal. So the stars were coming and going, and one of the stars that day was Richard Mulligan. And I'm like, oh my God, it's Burt Campbell. He's so funny. I loved him, and I'm going to introduce myself. So he came out, and we had a nice little chat. And then after it was over, he just reached down and grabbed my nuts.
And you didn't pay him for it or anything.
No, there would have been there would need to be more than just a grab. I mean, come on, yeah. So
well, you were just beginning. You got to start somewhere.
That's right. There was no gift. There was no movie. No romance. No dinner. He went for the grab.
No snacks.
Well, he was a doctor in his past life. He just wanted you to cough.
Well, that's right. He played Dr. Weston on Empty Nest. That's right. He was a doctor. Yes, but he didn't ask me to cough.
He said it quietly. You weren't listening.
So Richard Mulligan has gone to that great fondling place in the sky, fondling angels, having a field day. So I couldn't reach out to him or reach under him. So I contacted one of his old soap castmates, an actress, Diana Canova, who played Corinne Tate on that show. She was great. She had an alien baby or a possessed baby. So she wrote a very nice commentary in the book defending him, but not denying it. What her theory was that he was kind of a Goomba, kind of she said it was locker room behavior, a term we've heard a few times. Yeah. And that he was just kind of a man-to-man macho sign of bonding.
I don't know. I mean, in the locker room, maybe an ass smack or a towel snap. But I don't think I've ever had a nut grab.
Maybe start with a nice tap on the shoulder, but I'm like, if that's locker room behavior, I guess, I mean, can I just go into a locker room and say, hey, how you doing, Frank? How you doing?
Grabbing people by the nuts.
I heard this is acceptable.
Yeah, right. According to Richard Mulligan. So I mean, just bizarre. I still am like, how did all this weird shit happen? And I am really glad that I'm able to write this down, before the vodka gets the best of me.
So, folks, in case you haven't realized yet, William is here promoting his new book, which is releasing tomorrow. The show notes are up above, down below. Click on the link. It'll take you there if you're interested in purchasing it. It's When You Step Upon a Star, Cringeworthy Confessions of a Tabloid Bad Boy. And a lot of the stories you've heard so far tonight are only the tip of the iceberg of what's in this book. Notice how I said, see, I said the tip. I didn't even go for the ball grab. I gave him the tip.
That's right. Yes. Burt Campbell stayed away from the tip. He just went below.
Okay.
Dug deep. So yeah, buy it. I think you'll be entertained. And there is a little life lesson at the end of every chapter that will improve your life. I guarantee you'll become a different person, a better person. All your dreams will come true.
Right? Wow. No, that's When You Wish Upon a Star, not Step Upon a Star.
Disney will come after me if I go with that title. So we're close without stepping on their copyright infringement.
Right? We know all about that.
I bet.
Okay. I mean,
comic books, Jeremy, by the way, what are those up on your ceiling?
Comic books.
Comic books. I just sold my stash last year. $4,000. The first appearance of Batgirl. First appearance of Riddler. I just took a big stash of them down to the Comic-Con, and it was like dealing drugs, but with like copies of cancer. And
I was looking for tissues so I could mail them to Jeremy because I think he just wet himself.
Yeah, he did. First appearance of Batgirl, like
it was in good condition. It was in great condition.
Why weren't we friends back then?
We circled all the way back around to pooping yourself.
I still the first appearance of Aqua Baby, if you care about Aqua Baby.
No, thanks.
It's in bad condition. I got to it.
Wow.
Oh my. So we only have a couple minutes left with this amazing gentleman. But man, he's got some stories, folks. So I'm gonna say it again. Show notes up above, down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. The links are all there. All his stuff is there. Just click it.
I appreciate it. Yep.
Click it.
Yeah, follow me. I think I have like 2 followers on Instagram. I just launched it, so
I think you have 3. I think I followed you.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Jeff. Jeremy, where are you? You'll get me up to 5.
Now you want me to use Instagram?
Yes, I don't do Instagram.
All my handles are when you step upon a star, so it's not hard to find me and find the book. And
I'll find you on Facebook then. I stopped after Facebook. They tried to get me with TikTok and all those other apps. My kids are like, "Yeah, you're a podcaster. You got to be on this, that, and the other thing." I'm like, I don't have that kind
that's
of life.
when you have to correct them, Jeremy. You say, "I was a podcaster." The numbers that this show reaches puts us into talk show.
Oh.
Wow.
So I'm a talk show host, damn it.
Well, I don't know that I'll be big enough to be in your opening credits. I saw some very recognizable, fun names there. But maybe, in a retrospective look back at the past year, I'll warrant a mention at least.
I think.
Yeah, we'll keep you on the back burner for a while.
So we're gonna be like the National Enquirer here. So if you send me an autographed copy of the book, I'll put you in the credits next year.
I think we can work that out. Yeah, and I'll see what Batman comics I have left for Jeremy. Jeff, what do I need? What do you
Excellent.
need? What's your bribe?
I'm easy.
Just reach down and grab them.
Hey, you got to get
stand up,
the
Jeff.
Gandalf,
Come on.
that's all.
Stand up, Jeff. I'm grabbing them.
You got to get to the Gandalf.
Oh my God, I think I felt something.
That's what his wife says.
I'm never washing this hand again. Get me a glove.
It's like a flea circus.
Oh, Jeff, what have you been doing?
What? Not from front to back or back to front.
Oh.
Okay,
was I
we
supposed to be
derailed.
facing the other way?
I think we better. The bad boy is coming back. I'm supposed to be reformed now, guys.
All right,
Sorry,
so
folks.
I have 2 final questions for you.
Please. Yep. I preferred the left one.
No, actually, these are very honest, easy questions.
Okay, please.
Cats or dogs?
Oh God, you know what? I would always say dogs. My partner moved in with his cat. I'm bisexual there with both. I love them both. Sorry.
Okay, I figured you'd say
Depends
dogs.
on the day. Whoever doesn't shit in the house, on that animal.
There you go.
Okay, all right. Well, if a cat shits in the house, it should go in a box. So
that's yes, like Dick in the Box. Absolutely.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
See,
okay.
He did it.
Good thing
He did it,
it's the end of the show.
I was gonna come out with the other one and be like, Jeff, he's gay. He doesn't do box.
Well, I was leaning towards that, but I just said, I figured he'd say dog because he doesn't do pussy.
He did it. He did it.
Okay. Do I have time for one quickie last question? Well, it's not even a story. I was in Dallas. I was interviewing the cast of Dallas at the South Fork Ranch, and I asked Larry Hagman. I said, "Hey, Mr. Hagman, I know you know Texas really well. What should I see while I'm here? What should I experience?" He said 2 things. He said, "Get yourself a fuzzbuster. Those cops are assholes. They'll get you. Next thing you want to get is pussy. Texas has the best pussy of any state in the country." And I got a fuzzbuster.
You didn't turn around and look at him and say, "Well, where's all the beef ranch?"
I'm staying out of Miss Ellie's kitchen, guys. I'm not going there. Jeff, what's the
Well,
second?
I mean, they have the brothels and the whorehouses down there, right? I mean, they always do. Don't they have a sausage house?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, how are the whorehouses down there, Jeff? Which is your favorite?
I know. Never been to Texas.
Best little whorehouse in Texas.
The Dolly Parton's.
Dolly
Parton's is the best.
That's a little whorehouse in Texas, right?
Yeah,
we're just referencing a movie here, people.
Yes.
Don't get all in a quandary.
Classic. Yeah.
All right. So, question number 2: what do you like on your pizza?
Sausage, pepperoni, and maybe.
We're in the gutter already here.
Oh,
no
Jeff,
good.
can I do the? Can I?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
You can do whatever you want.
That's a screen grab there. There you go. How perfect! I fell right into your trap.
See?
I like my favorite on pizza is sausage, pepperoni, and pussy. How about that? Okay.
Pizza. I've never tried that.
That's a taco.
Yeah, it would be a
Right.
taco. It's not a pizza, it's a taco.
All right, we've totally derailed this. Jar Jar.
Last question. What was the most difficult part about writing this book?
This interview with you.
All right. Yeah.
It's terrible. This is awful. I need to write another book to apologize. I need to go back to church now on Sundays.
What's the next one going to be called? When you step on a dick?
Oh.
When you grab a podcaster's balls, I think that'll be the next one. I don't know. This is it for a while. This beat me up. I hope people enjoy this because this was a bitch. 10 years to work on this baby, but it's worth it. It's good. Give it a chance, guys. Buy the book.
Absolutely, we're going to say that too.
Nice.
You know,
Yeah.
definitely. You know, folks.
It sounds like a lot of fun. It does. The book sounds like a lot of fun.
It's fun. But, you know, I will say I had my book signing last night. We had a great turnout at Barnes & Noble. And I would tell these stories, and it would be kind of like with you guys. I mean, there would be laughter, and then there would be like kind of like, oh, my God, should I laugh at that? I mean, that's sort of a horrible thing. Yeah. But I wanted that roller coaster effect. I wanted that to take people on kind of a ride. And it's the ride, baby. It's cheaper than buying a ticket to Disneyland.
Right? I mean, it was your career.
Yeah. It was.
mean, you know, it's really that simple. And you know, we don't get a lot of guests like your caliber with that style of career. And I think it's been an amazing, informative to a point chat.
I've loved it, and I tell you, I did get kind of nasty with you guys. I've done a few of these interviews, and I couldn't even say damn on a lot of these interviews. So when I saw there was opportunity to come play with you guys, and you know, kind of have some locker room talk, I went for it. This was really fun. I actually loved experiencing this with you guys. So
excellent.
Hopefully, I won't get canceled.
Well, I will say this: if anything offended anybody tonight, unfortunately, you have to call his agent because we don't give a fuck.
Right.
Pretty much that simple. And if you're watching our show, you know how it runs. This is not our first show. We've 5 years.
I don't give a keck at all.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Call the Inquirer.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
So with that being said, I got to find all the right fucking buttons again because I just had too much fun tonight. William, where do you like interacting with your fans on the socials?
Again, when you step upon a star.com is the website. That'll take you to links to buy the book. When you step upon a star Instagram, when you step upon a star Facebook, Twitter is step upon a star if you care about that. And I'm not kidding you. Today, I finally got into the TikTok world. TikTok. I bought some mints. Just a little one is just so fresh and keeps the breath fresh and minty all day long.
But you
just
can't
find me.
scroll.
When you step upon a star. I got nothing more to say, guys. I need to take a shower. This is brutal.
Jar Jar.
Hey, I'm Jeremy Courtney on Facebook. Come follow me over there. Hang out with me. Come check out Splash Pages every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on the YouTubes and the Facebooks and wherever else you listen to podcasts and all that funky stuff. At the end of next month, I'm going to be at Terrificon hosting some panels. So come on down and have a good time with us. That's it. That's all I got this week.
You're not coming on next week?
Oh, I'll be here next week.
Oh, okay. I was just checking.
No, you haven't sent me the information for next week, so I don't know.
That's because I just signed the guest today.
Oh.
Because I had to move some stuff around. So, Jeffrey.
Yes. StillTalking.com. Talking with the Dead on Facebook. You'll find everything you need to know. Thank you, William. It's been fun.
What the fuck? Did you eat a gummy before the show?
I'll never tell.
Oh my word. Oh my word.
I'll never tell.
But in all seriousness, we want to thank William for coming out, hanging out, telling us some stories, some good, some not so good.
But always entertaining, I hope.
But always
Yes.
entertaining, and all of them have a lesson, just like his book.
Yeah.
So make sure you check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. Yeah, I said it. To all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do so people like us can do what we do. Stay safe. We'll see you next week. And we're going to be out of here as soon as I can find the right button. William, just hang tight till the show closes, please.
I'm hanging.